Coming into this season, I knew this was going to be a good linebacker class. Well, we're halfway through and we're staring down the barrel of a great one. I'm going to talk about my top 10 linebackers in the 2026 NFL draft. Stick around to the end because there's going to be a lot of honorable mentions, but let's go ahead, get into this sucker with number 10. Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech. He's 6'1", 230 pounds. I currently have a third round projection on him, and he has been utterly everywhere for the Red Raiders defense. He has 62 tackles, 32 defensive stops. That's a PFF number. Basically, it's tackles for loss and tackles for no gain. 4 forced fumbles, 3 pressures, 2 interceptions, 2 pass breakups, and I know on the overlay it says, and a pressure. That's actually a sack. But yeah, the dude has been everywhere, and it's kind of hard to believe seeing he is a former quarterback back in high school. He was a 4-star recruit from the 2021 recruiting class, so he will be 24 entering his rookie year. Honestly, doesn't matter that much when it comes to the linebacker position because just with all the experience, he should be able to hit the ground running in the NFL. But in high school, he played quarterback and safety. He also did basketball and track and field. But he goes to Virginia. That's where he starts his career. And he was more of a utility player his freshman season. He was playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Decides to transfer after that season to Texas Tech, where he started to make the transfer from the offense to the defense as a linebacker. And 2023 really served as his breakout year. And you would be like, well, he only played in 5 games, 4 starts. But he starts the year with like a foot or ankle injury. And it wasn't until the Independence Bowl, the bowl game, where he broke out, was the defensive MVP for that game. But since he only played 4 games in the regular season, he was able to use that year as a redshirt. And he's the full-time starter in 2024. He was a first-team All-Big 12. He was the defensive MVP of the Liberty Bowl, and he's been utterly phenomenal this year for the Red Raiders. The dude's a tone setter. He's got a little bit of that old-school thumper to him. He reads the run game really well. He has fast hands, so he's able to block shed exceptionally well. He flows, navigates, and just closes in on ball carriers extremely well. Comes downhill with a head full of steam, knows how to basically swerve, navigate traffic, flies all over the field, great in pursuit. He's got that peanut punch to him, obviously, for forced fumbles this season. He had 3 last year. He's a team captain, and he's drastically improved in coverage this year, making more splash plays, and that's why he's such a big riser. Entering the year, he was more of a 5th, 6th round grade for me because, you look at 6'1", 230, okay, it's a moderate size. It's fine. It is what it is. The NFL's been moving towards smaller players at linebacker anyway. But I needed to see him become a bit better in coverage because while his pursuit speed's pretty good, I don't really feel like he's a bursty or twitchy athlete. But upstairs, what matters when it comes to the linebacker, that seems to be clicking. And not to say it wasn't clicking last year, but I mean to an elite level. Now, he can do a better job maybe stacking blocks, doesn't really have that knockback power. His hard hidden style can lead to missed tackles. If you look last year, that number was 17%. This year, it is down to around 13%. So you're going to have to live with some missed tackles. And while he is making splash plays and coverage this year, I still think in the NFL, he'll probably be a minimal gain guy, which is fine. Most linebackers are. And by minimal gain guy, basically, this pass catcher, you might get it underneath and get 4 to 6 yards on me, but I'm going to limit the yards after the catch. I'm going to make sure I make this tackle. I think he probably falls more into that bucket than someone who's going to be just this insane playmaker in coverage. And honestly, quite frankly, you don't need to be with how much he's all over the field, how much of a presence he makes as a guy that can force fumbles, which you can say that's a fluky stat, but he's really good at it, and he has a track record of being exceptionally good at it. He has 9 forced fumbles over the course of his career. So, yeah, I love me some Jacob Rodriguez. Coming in at number 9, it's Kyle Lewis out of Pitt. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds. So, yeah, a bit undersized, but I currently have a 3rd round projection on him. That hasn't changed since the summer, and he has been just as good as he was last season. He has been at Pittsburgh for the last 4 years. He is a redshirt junior, so there is an option that he could end up staying. But I mean, the production's just been so good with him. I don't know why he would. The speed immediately just pops out on tape, man. And I said this over the summer. It's a crazy thing to say because Rasheem Biles, his teammate, the other linebacker there, is pretty fast. But you watch Kyle Lewis and it's like, oh my gosh, this dude, just the explosiveness, the ability to close, it's utterly insane. He made Bruce Feldman's freaks list this past year for that very reason. Legit explosiveness and bend around the edge. He has 10 pressures, 2 sacks this year. Last year, 32 pressures, 7 sacks. So yeah, he can get after the passer. He's just shot out of a cannon. He'll chase down anyone from anywhere. He's athletic enough to basically keep up with a variety of different pass catchers. So speed's really not an issue in that regard. Insane motor, a guy that can play in the slot. How many slot snaps did he have last year? 271 thus far. That number this year, let me just pull it up real quick. Number of slot snaps this season, 135. So a guy that does sit in the slot can play a bit of an overhang safety role. So a versatile piece in your just in your back seven, I suppose. But also someone who you can line up on the edge, line up in a mug front, and have him get after the passer. He also has a ton of special teams experience, close to 400 snaps on special teams. So you like to see that. The size sucks. I get it. It shows up when he is forced to take on blocks. He tries his darndest to kind of finesse around blockers, but there will be times where he does get stuck in engagement and he will struggle to set himself free. Running backs can stonewall him in pass pro, so you don't love that. The tackling style his tackling style where he's just kind of like this heat-seeking missile shot out of a cannon. Sometimes he could come in a little bit too hot and slip off tackles, but hasn't been an issue thus far in the last 2 years. As 2024, 12% missed tackle rate this year. That number is the same, but you got to imagine that number might go up in the NFL where you're dealing with quicker, stronger athletes. But big fan of Kyle Lewis. A lot of people don't think he gets talked about enough, but I think he's a surefire day 2 pick. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. Coming in at number 8, it's Isaiah Glasgow out of BYU. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. Currently do have a 3rd round grade on him. He did make my honorable mentions over the summer, but he's a former 3-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class, being that he went to BYU. He did serve a mission trip for the Church of Latter-day Saints. So he might be around 23, 24 years old, but his family, they were athletes at BYU. His dad actually spent a little time in the Texas Rangers farm system, so that was kind of cool. But he became the full-time starter last year where he was the defensive MVP in the Alamo Bowl. And man, you just look at that frame, you look at that length, and he's got the room to add more mass to his frame if you want him to. Maybe he can be a bit of a hybrid linebacker in a 3-4 front where he can both get after the passer and also play a little bit of coverage. But again, it's just an impressive combination of size, speed, and length. He has long strides. He's able to run with tight ends up the seams. I think he's got the ability to play kind of a middle third in a Tampa 2, though we don't really see a lot of Tampa 2 in the NFL, but you will occasionally. And he's got good recovery speed. When he finds himself maybe a step behind, he's able to make up ground with long length, just the length and the long strides. So there's a bit of margin for error for him. No problem finding the ball when he gets in the backfield. Good lateral closing speed to make plays on the sideline. That length just kind of allows him to reach, grab, and pull down ball carriers. He's got violent hands in engagement. He's able to get off blocks pretty quickly, and he really does bring that pass rushing upside with him. Big motor, will play to and through the whistle. However, he might be coming off his worst game of the season against Utah this past week. I haven't dug into the film quite yet, and I had him here coming into the last week. So I don't know, man. Maybe he sees a little drop, or maybe that's just kind of, okay, it's one bad game. It is what it is. But I'm just gonna say this: from his tape in 2024, I felt like, man, he's a bit out of control as a tackler, and he had a missed tackle rate of 16.3%. That was relatively, looks like he cleaned it up this year. And then versus Utah, he had 6 missed tackles. So it's like, I'm going to have to go back to that film and see what happened there, because that was an area I thought he improved in this year. Again, it could just be like, okay, this one game just was really bad for him. You're just going to crumple up and toss it out. There are some times where he gets stuck in engagement and he will move with the blockers. So they basically just move him to where they need him to be to make room in the run game. While he can cover grass, or at least cover a big chunk of grass with long strides, I feel like in coverage, or specifically zone coverage, he's just stays in place. He's more focused on covering his vicinity rather than the players around him. So I don't think he's a very instinctual coverage player, which is why let's try to take advantage of this potential pass rush upside with him. And that's the thing. This is an upside pick. I don't know if he can really, I don't think he really is able to hit the ground, the running in the NFL. He's not someone I think you're going to start relatively early, but he can be a diamond in the rough if you're willing to take a year or so to develop him. And just with that upside, he can become a really, really good player in the NFL. Then at number 7, it's Torian York out of Texas A&M. He's 6 foot, 235 pounds. He's a guy I just won't quit. I was a big fan of his coming into the year, but there are some real limitations when it comes to York, and we'll get into it in a sec. He's a former 3-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class, so currently he is a true junior, so he has the option to return to school if he wants to. He has been a full-time starter since arriving at A&M. So that's through 2 different coaching staffs. He was a full-time starter as a freshman for, was that Jimbo that was there at Texas A&M? I guess it's irrelevant. Elko's there now, and he loves the guy. This dude's a twitched up athlete who plays fast. He plays physical. I love the range, his ability to play sideline to sideline. The shorter stature actually helps him stay balanced in traffic, even when he does take on contact. He's able to see through blockers and just keep track of what's going on, what's transpiring in the background, or in the backfield, I should say. Despite the lack of length, he's got quick and violent hands that kind of helps him in engagement and with block shedding. He's a fluid athlete, good spatial awareness in coverage, though I will say the ball production hasn't really been there for him this past season. He is a team captain. You love to see it. However, again, there's limitations when it comes to that frame. He doesn't have ideal length. He's stocky, but feels a little thin, not built to really play in a phone booth. The shorter arms limits his ability to actually take on blockers, I think, in the NFL. There'll be times in coverage where he just won't have the length to really affect passing lanes or contest catches. And while he does play at a fast pace, sometimes it kind of opens up cutback lanes, and I would like to see more discipline when plays do extend horizontally or towards the sideline. Probably could be used more, or probably could use more finesse when navigating traffic, I do feel like this is a dude that relishes physicality and he likes to mix it up. But I want him to take advantage of that twitchiness when taking on blocks, because I feel like he's leaving some meat on the bone. He's leaving some plays out there when I think he's able to make a play if he was just able to take advantage of that quickness. I'm kind of curious if missed tackles will be a problem in the NFL with the limited length, means limited wrap up ability. But this is a dude who you turn the tape on and you just love. There is a chance he ends up returning, but currently I have him at 7. I think he made my top 6 linebackers this past summer. But again, this class is so good, it's kind of forced some guys down. Before we get back to talking linebackers, I got to tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Get your phone. Get it right now. Where is my phone? It is right here. Download the app. Sign up. Promo code Broshmo. They match the first deposit up to $1,000 dues. They have promos each and every day. It's not just football. You can do baseball. The World Series is coming up. You can do basketball. The basketball season's coming up. So get in on the action at Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Broshmo. But as always, play responsibly. Play within your means. Let's talk more of this great linebacker class. I love Whit Weeks, and it breaks my heart that he's coming in on this list at number 6. That really just speaks volumes to how good this class is. But he's 6'2", 225 pounds. I currently have a mid-day 2 grade on him, former 4-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. So he's a true junior, can return if he'd like to. He played running back, wide receiver, linebacker, and returner in high school. He did track and field as a sprinter and as a jumper. His father, David, played linebacker at Georgia. His brother, Wes, currently plays linebacker with him at LSU. And last season was a big breakout year for him. He was a first-team All-SEC. He did dislocate his ankle and fracture his fibula in the Texas Bowl last year versus Baylor, but he came back, was ready for the season opener, and he looked phenomenal. Now, he is currently banged up, had to miss the Vandy game, but he should be back. And I guess I should talk about why he's not higher on the list. It's coverage. It was my nitpick with him coming into the year, as sometimes he plays too fast, and it just feels like there's no splash plays in coverage. He hasn't done anything this year in coverage. There are times where he just stares down the quarterback, not really aware of what's going on with him. And when he is running with guys, he doesn't turn to make plays on the football. So really, that's the reason why Whit Weeks is only number 6 on this list for me. He's got the frame to add more size. So if you're worried about him being sub 230, don't be. He can add more mass, and just with how physical he plays anyway, I'm not too worried about that. Penalties haven't been a problem this year. I remember over the summer I mentioned there were some nasty hits where I thought he could have maybe been penalized for blindside hits or maybe potential targeting. That hasn't really been the case so far, at least thus far this season. Though I think in the Florida game, did he have a targeting call? Let me look. Whit Weeks, Florida targeted. Yeah, he was ejected. Yeah, okay, he was ejected for targeting. So, haha, look at that. The summer eval coming to fruition in 2025 is what it is. But I'm done talking negatively about him because he's fast. He's fluid. He has the speed to play sideline to sideline. He could also flip his hips and run with pass catchers. He's explosive when triggering downhill. He has that closing speed to continually make plays all over the place. He's physical. He's violent. He's a tone setter. He's an enforcer. He's exactly what you want on a defense. And you can tell that LSU defense is so different when he is not on the field. Just look to the Vandy game, which may have been the worst defensive performance by that LSU defense. I know that they're better than that, and you could tell they missed their leader, their captain, Mr. Whit Weeks. Anywho, he's shown to be a very good blitzer as well. He had 25 pressures, 4 sacks last year. This year, 16 pressures and a sack. And I mean, guys, he's doing that with only 41 pass rushing snaps this year. The dude gets pressure like no other. He is, again, the team captain, ton of special teams experience under his belt. Whit Weeks is borderline a top 50 prospect. Whether he comes out this year will be interesting. I wonder how much unfinished business he feels like will be left at LSU. So that is something to keep your eye out on. At number 5 is one of the biggest risers in this class. It's Jake Golday out of Cincinnati, 6'4", 237 pounds, a former 0-star recruit. Nonetheless, he played defensive end in high school. His parents and his brothers all played college basketball, which is kind of nuts. He starts his career at Central Arkansas, where he redshirted his first year, and then he was just a part of the defensive line rotation, and then he made the transition to linebacker, where he played in 11 games, decided to transfer. He goes to Cincinnati and gets 8 starts last year, and it's like, oh, okay, we got a future start here. Awesome. He has been insane this year. 57 tackles, 29 defensive stops, 12 pressures, 3 sacks, a pass breakup, a forced fumble. This guy has been phenomenal. He made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list coming into the year, which was really the only reason he was on my radar at all, because I look at that Freaks list and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. This is a guy that's also due to have more playing time this year. I'm going to add him to my watch list, to my draft guide, and maybe I'll get around to him if he has a good year. He's having a great year. He's fast. He's physical. He's athletic. He flies all over the field with his hair on fire. Being a bald man, I'm quite jealous of that. He has been recorded to do the short shuttle in 4.24 seconds, a 10-foot, 7-inch broad jump. He's been recorded at 22 miles per hour on the field, 24 reps at 225. He's got a max bench of 365. Just an insane combination of size, speed, power, explosiveness. He's a hard hitter, but he's also a sure tackler. He's a career force missed tackle rate, or his missed tackle rate is currently 9.4, which if you're under 10, then you are a very good tackler, and he is that. He can leverage gaps with physicality, and his hands are just super violent during engagement. He has the length to clog passing lanes, and we kind of saw that in, was it the Iowa State game, where he was kind of in the middle of a high-low concept, and he just played the middle of it, and you just see the athleticism, his ability to go up and make a play on the ball. Now, I will say, he is prone to sometimes just really covering his area, not necessarily covering players. I think he's the season's gone on, he's gotten better in that regard. But also, he's just not going to be a guy that consistently makes plays in coverage, or at least he hasn't been over the course of his career. The last 2 years in Cincinnati, only 2 pass breakups. There are times where he gets over aggressive flying downhill, and he needs to develop more patience. He wants to be a penetrator. He wants to disrupt the play immediately, but sometimes it's better served to show that discipline and not open up cutback lanes, or maybe get so aggressive that you're taking or you're mismanaging your pursuit angles. Doesn't have great peripheral vision, and will sometimes run himself into blocks. Again, he kind of hones in on what's going on in the backfield, where the ball carrier may be, and he's not aware typically what's going on around him. So it's times like that he gets stuck on blocks. It definitely falls more into the minimal gain guy when it comes to coverage. Again, not the end all be all, but he is not only a physical specimen, but a guy that's been playing really good this year. Won't surprise me if he ends up in many people's top 50. Currently, I got a mid-day 2 grade on him. At number 4, it's CJ Allen out of Georgia. He's 6'1", 235 pounds. I have a top 50 grade on him, and I'm going to tell y'all this. He was very close to being my linebacker 3 thus far in this class. So him and number 3 are very close to one another. And to be fair, both of them are very close to fringe first round talents in my opinion. If you're not familiar with CJ Allen, former 4-star recruit out of the 2023 recruiting class. So a guy that can return. He's currently a true junior, so he can come back if he wants to. He played quarterback, running back, linebacker in high school. He also played basketball and did track and field as a shot putter and a sprinter. Let's go. Was the full-time starter last year. He's the full-time starter this year. He is the heart and soul of that Georgia defense. And to be honest, coming into the year, I had 6 linebackers who I thought were above and beyond the best linebackers in this class. And I said, hey, there's these 4 guys, though, who have really good upside. So if they kind of break out, watch out. They could really move up boards. And he has been a breakout. The one thing I really wanted him to get better at was making more splash plays in coverage. Thus far, 3 pass breakups in coverage. And he's got that dense, compact build, but he is so shot out of a cannon. There's suddenness, there's speed. He's able to close in on ball carriers like just a freaking you go to the safari, right? And you see a lion stalking its prey. And the minute he decides to go, he goes. That's the click and close ability, or at least the quick trigger of CJ Allen. He's consistently making plays outside the hashes, outside the numbers. Just very good range in that regard. No problem turning and running with tight ends and running backs. Plays with this just relentless nature and speed to make plays. Even if it's like on the backside of run plays, he's able to do that. He's able to slam on the brakes and change directions really, really well. And I feel this year he has been taken in less by misdirection. And by misdirection, I mean whether it be motion, play action, read option, RPO. He has been much more steady and proactive rather than reactive in that regard. Now, that's not to say it's been perfect for him this year. I think some of the stuff we saw last year, we have seen thus far this season, because he can get a bit aggressive coming downhill. I think those moments are a bit more far and few between this year, but still it's something I'll occasionally see. While he's an explosive downhill blitzer, I do, which is kind of weird. I feel like he's gotten more shots maybe this season to be a blitzer, but maybe that number is actually on par. It just felt like he was getting more shots as a blitzer last year. And the sacks are there, but I don't think he's hitting home at the same rate as he was last season. Again, that may be just something that doesn't match up with the numbers and the tape. I'd have to go look at that. But that was my general feel coming away from his tape. But he does bring a bit of a blitzing upside, but I think he's far better just in coverage and having him kind of be the Mike, the leader of your linebacking room. So I don't know. I guess that's just my take on it, but he is phenomenal. And golly, I feel like I'm talking myself into him being my number 3. And that's not to take anything away from Anthony Hill, who is my number 3 linebacker. He is 6'3", 237 pounds, because he has been very good this year as well. He's a former 5-star recruit, so he's got that pedigree. He did track and field in high school where he was a relay runner. You can see that with just how explosive he is, how much ground he's able to eat up. And he's been very good this year. He's been a sure tackler. I think he's cleaned up as a tackler, and I love seeing that. He's a lawn athlete. who can run and cover ground. He works well laterally as a run defender. He knows how to get skinny through traffic. I guess to more of a degree than what CJ Allen has done as a blitzer. I feel like Hill hasn't been nearly as good as a blitzer as well as he was last season. Last season, 23 pressures and 6 sacks. This year, only 8 pressures. And I think that's actually, that's kind of comparable to how many snaps he had as a pass rusher last year. So that number drastically did drop. But he does have that blitz and upside to him. It's just not quite hitting home this season. Crushing tackler. He's able to force turnovers. He had 4 forced fumbles last year. Only 1 this year, but just wait for it. I'm sure it's coming. He's able to make plays from the backside just with good closing speed. He's able to clog passing lanes with good length. He has an interception and a pass breakup this year. Those totals already match what he did last year in coverage. He's able to jump lanes underneath. He eats up plays that go to the flats. He's got good read and reaction ability. And honestly, when it comes to the nitpicks, there's not many with him. There really isn't. He's improved as a tackler. The pursuit angles here and there sometimes aren't ideal, but I think that's gotten better this year because he's slipped off less tackles this year. There are times in coverage he is frozen frozen's the wrong word, where he is hesitant or he hesitates because of what he's seeing from the quarterback. So sometimes just in coverage, he keeps his eyes into the backfield for too long rather than, I got guys coming in and passing through my assignment, my zone, my area. I need to be a bit more cognitive of what's going on around me rather than what's going on in the backfield, so to speak. I'm not too confident with his ability to play the Mike position. I think he's better suited as a weak side linebacker, someone that you can maybe even play off the edge or throw into the slot. I just think the spatial awareness isn't great for the Mike linebacker position. But again, I'm Anthony Hill. He's a phenomenal prospect. That just kind of speaks volumes to who my top 2 are. And number 2 is my first Ohio State linebacker on this list. Won't be my last. It's Sonny Styles. He is 6'4". He is 237 pounds. He is a former 5-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. He reclassified and graduated as a junior to enroll early at Ohio State. His father, Lorenzo, played linebacker at Ohio State before being selected in the 3rd round of the 1995 NFL draft by the Atlanta Falcons. His brother, Lorenzo Jr., currently plays cornerback at Notre Dame? No. Oh, before transferring to Ohio State. I thought so. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure his brother's on Ohio State, but initially his brother was at Notre Dame. But Sonny Styles has been phenomenal this season. He just had the interception this past week against Wisconsin, though it was more of like the ball fell into his hands because who was it? Jamal McCain? I don't know. I know it's a safety for Ohio State who's not eligible this year, but has been catching my eye this season. We're not talking about him, though. We're talking about freaking Sonny Styles. He's made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list the last 3 years. He was there in 2023, 2024, 2025. Utterly insane. So he did start his career as a safety, played safety in 2023, made the transition to linebacker, and it wasn't perfect in 2024. Ended up being still second team all Big Ten. This year, he looks so much, so much more comfortable at the linebacker position. He really does. I don't think he has a missed tackle on the year thus far, which is great. That was a big area I needed him to get better at, and he has. Again, there no question the upside of this cat. He was reported to run a 4.4 40, He was reported to have an 11-foot broad. He was reported to have a 39-inch vert, and we will see all that at the combine. I can't wait. But the athleticism always checked out on the field, from the closing speed, his ability to blitz. And he's not doing that as much this year because, well, they have another guy that can do that, and we'll talk about him in a sec. But his ability to shift gears on command really helped him in coverage and navigate traffic. But yeah, I think him cleaning up as a tackler, I think deservingly so. He's in the first round conversation. How high? I'm not gonna lie, man. In a linebacker class this good, because at the end of the day, this is one of the best classes. This is one of the best position groups in this draft. So these guys are going to be taken, I think, earlier. Position value be darned. Linebacker matters in the NFL. So I think there's a chance we see 3 linebackers. I don't know about 4, but 3 linebackers go in the first round, which is kind of nutty to think about and nutty to say. But yeah, he was a team captain. He has got tons of special teams experience. He just checks so many freaking boxes for you. He really, really does. And with him just becoming more, I was going to say be more cerebral, but I don't want to act like he's suddenly become this just super instinctive and just reliable linebacker. Because no, he's still learning the position, but he's cleaning up areas that were a struggle in 2024. And you got to appreciate that. You really do. I will say there are times he still gets maybe a little swallowed up by blockers. But again, even that is better this year for him. And at the end of the day, man, he's just a phenomenal prospect. And then at number 1 is everybody's number 1 is Arvell Reese, also from Ohio State. He's 6'4", 243 pounds. Listen, if you just watch the tape, I don't know how you can have anyone else number 1 in this class when it comes to linebacker. I just don't. I didn't watch him over the summer because, well, he only played 300 snaps, and I was like, okay, well, I guess it's better just to watch him this year, because I did watch his teammate Sonny Styles, but I was like, we'll just see how he does this year. And sure enough, he just goes on and is phenomenal. 19 pressures, 7 sacks. Like I said, Sonny Styles not blitzing nearly as much because, well, they have a better guy for that. I mean, you look at that size, 6'4", 243 pounds. He's got a long frame packed with muscle. Great combination of speed and strength. He is physical around the line of scrimmage with stopping power to halt ball carriers and work off of offensive linemen. He absorbs and fights through contact with active hands. He gets great leverage as well. He's got great burst, great closing speed. His ability to penetrate and disrupt rushing lanes is phenomenal. Excellent in pursuit. He's been a consistent tackler, 7.9% missed tackle rate this season. He's got the speed and the change of direction to actually flatten the corner as a pass rusher. Utterly insane. He's used all over the defensive front 7. He will split time in the box and off the edge. Specifically, yeah. He's got 144 snaps on the defensive line and then 157 snaps in the box. He's split in time because he's just such a versatile weapon like that. I will say coverage, it is what it is, man. He's still finding his feel for zone coverage. He can be a tad late to anticipate. He only has the 1 pass breakup this year, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that. If he's going to be a minimal gain guy, then I'm okay with it because of what he brings just as a pass rusher. There are plays outside of structure where he closes in on the quarterback prematurely, and that just kind of like he'll come off his man and leave a man open in coverage. So kind of is what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes the aggression does get the best of him, and he will fall for a little bit of misdirection or I was going to say misconception, but let's just say he'll fall for misdirection and some things that are trying to be disguised and whatnot. Does lose his run contain because he wants to make a play. is what it is. I'm literally nitpicking at this point of maybe instances that I saw 1 or 2 times on his film, because a majority of his film is utterly phenomenal. And for him to have 19 pressures and 7 sacks and not be a polished pass rusher at that, he's just kind of winning with physical tools and just unbridled urgency and relentlessness. Golly, he is an easy guy to love in this class. But let's talk about some honorable mentions, because I did say it is indeed a stacked class. Let me give a little shout out to my thumpers out there, my old school thumpers. Austin, where are you at? Romaine out of Kansas State. Hey, listen, I think he's going to be a very good special teamer and maybe an early down player at some point in his career. Do I want to throw this out there? I might throw this out there. So I wasn't a big fan of Nathan Landman, who was coming out of Colorado. I think he was either a 7th round pick or UDFA that went to Atlanta. And obviously you had the injuries with Troy Anderson there. So he stepped up, played well, and ends up not re-signing. The Atlanta just lets him walk, I think. He goes to the Rams, and he's been phenomenal there. So, hey, just because I think a guy like Austin Romaine, who, spoiler alert, I gave you my top 10, he's 11, who I'm not high on just because of that. Oh, well, it's more of an old school feel, and that's not really where today's game is. There's a place for it, man. There's a place for it. If he can get there, we'll see. Lander Barden's been playing good football this year for Utah. He just missed out on the list. Deontay Lawson was the guy that dropped for me. And more so, it's just I'm worried about the play strength. I'm worried about how lean he is. I really am. He was listed by some verified sources at 218, and I thought that was just because of him coming off the ACL injury. But I think Alabama lists him at 228, which is still pretty lean, but it kind of is what it is. We'll see. He's playing good football, I will say that. Aiden Fisher out of Indiana, man, might not be ideal when it comes to height and length, but he's all over the field making plays. Some people like the Oregon linebacker, Bryce Betcher, who was also a MLB draftee by the Astros. Again, we don't know if he's picking football or baseball, so that's something to kind of hold your breath on. Scooby Williams, I think, has been banged up. The other Texas A&M linebacker, I know he got banged up versus, I think it was against Notre Dame. Let's see. Yeah, got banged up. Yeah, got banged up against Notre Dame, and they've been slowing him, bringing him back slowly since then. He's only played 23 snaps the last 2 weeks. Again, they're bringing him back relatively slowly, but I mean, after how he started the first 3 games, I thought he was going to be a big riser, and then injury happened, which sucks. But he kind of has to come out this year. I think he's exhausted his eligibility. I mentioned Rasheem Biles out of Pittsburgh. Golly, I do like him. He plays with good build-up speed and energy, but he is undersized. He is young, though. He's probably coming back to Pittsburgh. I believe he's a true junior. So I imagine he ends up returning, but we'll see. There are a couple of guys I do have returning. You got Drake Bowen out of Notre Dame. He's played really well this year, but he's got the extra year of not the extra year of eligibility. He's a true junior. And I think in coverage, he's had some good coverage plays, and then he's had some abysmal coverage plays. So I'd like to see him get a little bit better at that. So I think another year, and he could probably be a top 100 pick. Harold Perkins, I really feel like he's returning. Because, he redshirted last year, so he's going to have the extra year of eligibility. And it's just such a tweener build. I'm just going to list him as returning until he decides if he's not going to. I have Amari Campbell out of Pittsburgh or Penn State returning. He's not been very great this year, especially after Tony Rojas went down, who, yeah, by the way, I have returning as well. He's a true junior. That's did he play in 4 games? Is he going to redshirt this year? Is he able to redshirt this year is probably the better question. I mean, regardless, he's a true junior. Okay, he'll probably, redshirt this year and have 2 years of eligibility left in him. I haven't gotten to Arian Carter from Tennessee or Wesley Bissant from Miami. That's a guy I really want to get to. I've heard good things about Isaiah Jones. I mean, he popped off against Oregon. So maybe a dude that I watch over the next few weeks. But I do want to give a shout out to Jason Henderson out of ODU. He's someone that's been on my watch list for quite a while. And unfortunately, he ended up retiring after the season opener this year. If you don't remember, he had a knee injury in 2023, which is kind of what derailed his collegiate career and his draft stock. Because he would come back in 2024 in the season opener, but decided to redshirt because he was still trying to recover from that knee injury. And after the season opener this year, he just felt like, man, I just can't play at this competitive level anymore. And that just really sucks. So I wanted to highlight him because he's someone that we've talked about over the last 2.5 years. So I don't want to just brush him under the rug because now he's no longer draft relevant. But I want to give a shout out to him, or do. Anywho, that's it for the video. What are we doing tomorrow? We're doing the offensive interior. We're talking guards and centers. So be on the look for that, sucker. I did quarterbacks yesterday. You could check that video out. Probably up here. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it and post that in. Maybe I won't. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.